comes in at 9 a.m. UK time. Expected another expansion, Manus. The data's looking punchy, so does the euro.
Johnny, thanks for that. Well, joining me now to weigh in on the ECB stress tests is Yannick Naud. He's a portfolio manager at Glendevan King Asset Management. Welcome to On the Move. So we've heard from Mario Draghi a very frank statement where he says, look, this is about transparency, this is about integrity, and we've got the ability to do this. Are you convinced now that we're on the road to rehabilitating the European banks?
Yes, I mean, it's a test of credibility, because if the stress test is too benign, every bank will pass, and we will have the same problem like we had earlier years ago. I think we still have a lot of questions after reading the 17-page text yesterday. Obviously, we still don't know how the sovereign debt within bank will be.
Well, that's the perennial question, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, in your notes, you actually say, Manus, I'm concerned about the unilateral methodology that they may use, and that the Nordic banks actually may indeed, you know, be penalised here.
Yes, in fact, I mean, it's very early to say, because we don't know all the detail, but in fact, both the weakest bank and probably the strongest bank could be impacted negatively. Once because they rely a lot on LTRO, and because a lot of their balance sheet is invested in domestic sovereign bond, and the other one because the way to calculate the strength of the asset, which is one of the three pillars, and especially their mortgage, might be impacted by some uniform way of calculating the risk.
The winners and losers, we'll find out in due course. Talk to me about China, because for 2 consecutive days we've seen a squeeze higher in borrowing rates, a withdrawal of liquidity by the People's Bank of China, and yet we've got, you know, a nice set of purchasing managers. The Flash Purchasing Managers Index, you know, was good today. Are you concerned about a cash squeeze in China?
Yeah, I think we see every kind of, so far we have a lot of evidence that there is still some stress in terms of cash and availability of cash. We can see it in the interest rate market. I think in China it's always an interesting thing, because either they're the best country in order to manage the economy, or they are the best country in order to manage the numbers. I don't know which one is correct, but anyway, I think it's a developing story. We will have some more negative news from China.
A couple of corporates that have reported this morning. You know what? Let's have a look at the euro dollar and just see where that's trading, because this is a big issue.
Yes.
John Farrow dug this up. Jean-Claude Juncker said, $1.34, I begin to worry. Or $1.38.
I know.
Are you concerned about that, how that's going to play into earnings in Q4, or is it a big issue 2014?
It's already playing right now. I mean, we saw earlier this week LVMH was complaining about that. Today we have the numbers from Daimler. They're very good numbers.
Yeah.
Having said that, they have been impacted quite a lot by the strong euro. So, I mean, every company now, which a cost base in euro, are suffering for the export.
Talk to me a little bit about Daimler, because they've got new product, they're adding, they're investing. Is that your top play? When you look at the upper end of the auto business in Europe, where do you want to be? Well,
Daimler, I mean, the strength of Daimler is not really coming from the truck business. So far, it's coming from the Mercedes, the car. I mean, there's 23 models. I don't think there's been as many models before in the past. You have to understand that Daimler is not the strongest player in the luxury car market as it used to be. It's the third one after Audi or after BMW.
Yeah.
So basically, they need to, I think they have the willingness to try to regain their position and try to attack the competitor and to grow the business. If you look in the detail, within Mercedes, in fact, the compartment that did the best was compact car, not really the most expensive S-Class or...
But that's about bringing us on board, bringing us into the Mercedes family and growing us as our income grows.
Yes, it's true, but you need to make sure that your offering is really tailor-made. And obviously for car manufacturer, when you have a new model, you tend to see a higher growth.
Okay, stay with me, Yannick, because we're going to get into some of the strategy when we come back from the break. That's Yannick Naud, portfolio manager at Glendevan King Asset Management. Here's a look at what's coming up on the move.